Here's a service that almost everybody with an RV water heater fails to do. At least an RV water heater that's made by Suburban. These are a glass-lined steel water tank, and they have a sacrificial anode down there that has to be replaced almost annually. I know, I never replaced the one at my house either, but it's really important in an RV. Even though this is a big 12-gallon tank, the sediment builds up in these very quickly and the tanks can get destroyed, but you also lose space for hot water in there. And the service is pretty simple. First, turn off the water supply to the RV or turn the water pump off. Then we need to go to the control panel inside and turn the water heater off of propane and electric. Very important on electric. Without water in the tank, that element right there will burn out very quickly. A lot of these Suburbans will have a service switch right there. You can just turn it off right here. Now we just need to release the pressure that's in the tank. You can either go ahead and release the valve right there by pulling on the handle, or go to the low point drain and open up the low point drain. That'll also release the pressure. Next thing we'll need is an 1 1/16 socket, or a 27mm socket will work too. Just go ahead and put it on our breaker bar, and then using smooth, even pressure, we'll just unscrew it. Now right here is the step where everybody gets wrong, including myself, because you forgot to bleed off the pressure. You'll know immediately because the anode gets shot in your face and you'll get covered in this calcium. It's happened a lot to me. And if it's hot water in there, that can be a bad day for you. There's a lot of sediment in this one. Oof. Now to say this was at the end of its life is a giant understatement. That's a new anode. And when we compare it to the old one, you can see what it's supposed to look like and what a used one looks like. If it all just looks like a coat hanger right there, because that steel rod in the middle, you're definitely due for a new anode. Its whole purpose is to be the weak point, and the metal is in the presence of water. This is supposed to be the part that corrodes rather than the glass-lined steel tank. So this is supposed to corrode. But the good news is we did get it before there was nothing left of the anode. So it's still doing its job. This will make it last a lot longer. For the next service. This is a water vessel. It's burping. If we open up the valve up there, the pressure relief valve, it'll flow out a lot better. And don't forget, this is your hot water. So all this mineral is what you're taking a shower in too. So it's really good to get rid of all the sediment that builds up in there. Now before we just go ahead and shove this in there and tighten it up, we do want to flush out the water heater itself. Often you just get a plastic rinse nozzle, but this is a little bit stronger for traveling purposes. This isn't the bottom of the tank. If you put your finger in there, you can feel a lot of sediment right in the hole there. And you'll notice it is bent right there. The nozzle on the plastic ones will be bent too. We can push it in there and start rinsing out the tank. We do want to twist that around. Be careful, right to the next of it is going to be where the heating element is. We don't want to break that. We'll just keep flushing it out. Now if you don't have any fancy sprayer like this, an old garden hose will work too. You can just push it in there, help rinse everything out. You can kind of make out all the little peaks of sediment that are coming out each time I go in and out. Making a mess down there. See all the sediment that we're getting. And then when you're done, go ahead and let it drain out. Now I think it's best to leave the valve open while you're doing that so you're not pressurizing it, but some people do like to close it. That way they can fill up the tank and help rinse everything out too. Definitely a lot cleaner in there. I don't feel any more sediment. Did a great job getting her all cleaned out. You can see these big sediment chunks that we got out. They're all over the ground right here. Taking showers in that, it's not a good thing. Now if you have a wire brush or a pick or even a tap, you can kind of clean out the threads of the drain hole. I think that's a lot better. Do one final wash. Get everything off the outside of the RV for the owner. Now you can use pipe dope or Teflon tape to seal the threads on the anode. Just like that. We'll slide it back in and tighten her up. Now we don't need to torque it incredibly tight. We want the next guy to be able to replace it. Now we'll just go ahead and close off that low point drain. Turn the water back on. And we'll come here and open up the pressure relief valve periodically to let the air pressure out. Let the water fill up completely. There's a dip tube on this pressure relief valve that will allow some air to be trapped into the water heater. That's normal. We should have water trapped into the water heater. It gives a little bit of wiggle room for expansion that all pressure vessels should have. And then burping the water heater here will help reduce the amount of burping you'll have to do at each fixture. But that is a very super easy service that anybody should be able to do on their own RV. If you look around hard enough, you might be able to find an entire kit that comes with 2 anodes, a spray head, and even the socket you'll need. Now don't forget, Atwood RVs, they have a aluminum tank, so you don't have an anode rod on that because they don't corrode. And in places where it actually freezes, you do need to drain your water heater out completely, and that's a good time to inspect your anode anyways and flush out the water heater if you're putting it into storage. We never want to let that water heater freeze. It will crack, you'll need a new one. Once you have water coming out right there, just like that, you're done. Super easy, barely an inconvenience. Anyone could do that. Don't forget to clean up your mess down here though. Hide that. All of that. Oh yeah, don't forget to turn the water heater back on. And check for leaks. And please don't turn that heating element on until you have water in the tank, or else you'll be getting a new water heater element.